Welcome to the MMA Roadshow, episode number 352. My name is John Morgan, and Cold Coffee is with me, kind of. He's actually, well, I mean, we're both in Las Vegas, I guess, and I can see you right in front of me. It's just not in person. It's on a video screen because, surprise, you're in quarantine.
It's the MMA home show. Yeah. Well, we talked about getting together, but it just feels like to do our due diligence and to not have people be like, why are you guys slapping everybody, all the rules in the face and doing whatever, even though we're trying to, be good or whatever. So stayed home doing the remote thing. Luckily we got the technology able to do that sort of thing. So
I guess for anybody,
here we are.
I was going to say,
house.
For anybody that wasn't sure, I mean, it's kind of funny because if you listen to last week's episode, we were, kind of having some jokes with each other, like, maybe I got COVID, maybe I don't, feeling a little bit, all right, and we're kind of having a little fun with it and just saying, all right, it's all good, we're good, we're hanging out, we're having a couple frosty beverages at Sierra Gold, but it turns out that you went, tested the next day, and the test came back positive. You got pulled from event coverage last week at the UFC, so we had Matt Erickson fly down from Chicago and kind of cover your work. But fortunately, it sounds like you're doing okay. It's a lingering cough I've heard as we were talking before we got started here, and you did actually lose your smell and taste, which I didn't experience that when I had my bout with COVID. So, man, what's the past week been like for you?
It's been bizarre. It is so weird trying to. Well, first, I haven't had much of an appetite to begin, but when you do try to eat because you hear your stomach start to growl, and you're just like, I should probably eat something. The pleasure and the fun of eating is completely gone when you have no taste to differentiate things and you have no smell to sort of entice. It's funny because I love seasoning things. I love doing whatever. But, so say even today, I made like biscuits and gravy, which I absolutely love biscuits and gravy. I was like, I'm going to treat myself. I deserve this. And I was making the sausage gravy and putting some pepper in there. And I was like, ooh, what else am I going to put in there? And then I go to try to taste it. And I was like, I can't fucking taste the difference at all of what I just did. And then I was like, all right, don't fuck with it anymore. Because I was like, I'm going to add something trying to make a taste happen in my mouth. And then realize that I'm just adding shit to add shit. So my biscuits and gravy this morning was not as pleasurable as I wanted it to be. But I was just like, I'm just tired of not having anything have any real taste. I found out that orange juice, for some reason, even though orange juice is good for you, the taste of orange and the smell of orange, I can smell my orange juice and I can taste the orange juice. But if I put coffee with my Irish creamer, which I love, I can't taste the Irish creamer and I can't smell the coffee. It's super bizarre, but I feel like there's glimpses, even with this now that I feel like I can smell the orange juice and do stuff. I'm hoping that it's trending in the right direction. It's just weird that this is the lingering thing, and even the coughing things, it's just these weird lingering things. The first night, where I really felt like, okay, something's going on. I had bad chills and muscle aches, and I had some pretty decent headaches, and that was about the bulk of it. I didn't have a crazy sore throat. I felt really congested. Nose was really congested, and I still feel sort of congested now. But it didn't feel as bad as I think it would have been should I, had I not been vaccinated or whatever. Right. I just feel, and I didn't know for sure if I had the Omicron or whatever. I just know that when you got sick last time and I was feeling a little something, I was like, I'm probably pretty sure I got a little something, but I was like, I shook whatever I had then in 2 days. And I was like, cool, I'm good. I don't need to go test. I don't want to have some weird, oh yes, you had something, and miss an event. And I was like, I'm feeling pretty good. I was like, it was doing what it was doing. I was like, if I feel bad, I'm going to go test. I never felt bad. This time definitely felt different than then. So I don't know if it was the new variant or whatever. I had weird shit going on with my hands. I felt like this arthritis like symptoms that was going on in my hands. And I was like, is this just me being weird, or let me look it up and see. And there is, in fact, some people have shown that COVID can kick up like arthritis symptoms or something in people.
Oh, wow.
And like the hands are fine now. That was just weird, but like for days, it was like really in the small of the joints, right in the middle of the hand. I was just getting this weird, tingly, sort of annoying soft joint pain or whatever. And I was just like, man, this is like the freakish, like just the most weirdest little things. But I still, even though I had all kinds of like weird little things like that, aches and stuff like that, I didn't feel like it was as bad as it could have been. But the no taste and smell lingering thing now is becoming much more of an annoying thing than anything else, just for the fact that I'm like, how long is this going to last?
I was going to ask,
like, when's it going to go away?
Have you tried to look up and read like case studies? I mean, it's still too early to know, right? Like, it's just indefinite when your taste and smell will come back?
I don't think there's like any particular set time, I think it, I haven't looked for sure. I mean, I'm still right now, and like the CDC tells you to quarantine at least like 10 days from when you test positive or whatever. So, I mean, I still not even hit the 10-day window. So
right.
I guess I should assume that, if it lasts longer than a couple weeks, then maybe I'd be like, hey, what's going on? But I feel positive. The fact that I can smell and taste certain things, I think it's just working itself out. I've just was so congested, and always like when you'd cough, you kind of feel like there was that payload of like mucus or whatever built up. That I feel like as that clears up,
mucus.
I feel like as that clears up, I'm thinking the taste and the smell will kind of come back. I just think my whole nasal congestion, like throat area, is just a war zone right now on the inside. And I think just it's an overload for the senses or something that it's just weird that it affects the taste and the smell. But all in all, I feel so much better. And I never felt like the worst. I know I never ever felt threatened to the point where I was like, oh, I might need to go see a hospital or go see a doctor. It was always like, let me just stay home, isolate myself, drink fluids, take my vitamins, and, just hope for the best. I know you tipped me out and you told me to call Joe Rogan, and I was like, I'm not going to bug Joe.
I was like, my man Joe's got busy, you set up. Just hit him up. He'll shoot the doctors right over to you, man. They got the treatment already.
He would have been like, just give me that credit card, Ken. I'll send them on over. And I'm like, Joe, I think we're good. Joe, next time if I get it, if it's serious, I'll give you that call. But yeah, man, it's good, man. I think it's trending in the right direction. I feel so much better. But like I said, I never felt too terribly bad. It's just now, it's just effing annoying not being able to really smell or taste. But the weight loss program's good right now. We're trending in great directions. We've lost more weight than we've had ever before in quite some time.
So there you go.
People that don't want to get COVID, I'm just saying, if you got that stingy weight from the holidays you can't get rid of, I'm just saying.
It might kill you, or you can drop a couple LBs along the way. It's a risk you got to take.
Dropping stones over here. I'm telling you.
Well, that's good, man. I'm glad you're feeling better. Did it? I don't remember. Were you supposed to travel? Did you have holiday plans, or were you just going to stay home anyway?
No. Eventually, at one point, I had planned to go, but then as the year was kind of going on, just getting with the move and everything, and then being able to have somebody come watch the animals, it was just becoming a pain. And then my family couldn't get it together as for whether we were all going to get together or not. So then at that point, I was just like, okay, guys, if you guys can't get it figured out, I was like, I'm just going to use it as a staycation or whatever.
Okay.
So that was good. Yeah.
I was worried that maybe it screwed up some family plans or whatever, but,
No, we couldn't get it together. I picked it in far enough in advance because I was thinking like, hey, let's try to get together like we did last year and then this year. But it was like, well, we're not quite sure what we're going to do or blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. So,
Good.
It worked out. It worked out for the best.
It worked out okay. You were just gonna have a staycation anyway. It just ended up being a quarantine staycation. So fortunately, you're feeling better. But I saw a lot of people sending some positive vibes your way. So like you said, fortunately, it didn't end up being that bad for you. And hopefully you get that taste and smell back very soon. So that's the negative side update. On the positive side, I already talked about it with the fans over at the and a half episode over at patreon.com/MMA Roadshow. But I'm celebrating. MMA Junkie Staff Picks champion John Morgan. First time ever for me winning the damn thing. Cold Coffee even won before me. You had the victory back in 2000.
Won on my first try.
That's amazing. 2018, you got it. Last year it was Dan Tom. I ended up only being one ahead at the end. UFC Fight Night 199. Lewis versus Dawkins was the final event that we had. And so I ended up only being ahead by one. But that's all you have to be ahead by. Oh,
it was picked up early in the evening. Simon conceded early on. Right after that fight, he was like, I just want to say congrats. I was like, what is he saying congrats for?
That's right.
Because it was so early on in the evening. I was like, wow.
I mathematically locked it in when Mateusz Gamrot defeated Diego Ferreira. So I mathematically locked it in. At that point, I was 3 picks ahead. I picked Wonder Boy. That definitely didn't go my way. I picked Dawkins. That definitely didn't go my way. So he closed it all the way to 1, but that was as close as he could get it to. So finally, your 2020 MMA Junkie Staff Picks champion. Dude, check this out. I talked about this past weekend, too, 21. But I went ahead. 2021. Yeah, Jesus Christ. The years are blending together now that every day is the same in COVID land. 2021 Staff Picks champion. Dude, I went back and I picked every year that we've done. I got the stats. So this year I finished, for the record, at 212 correct picks, 118 incorrect. So I guess 212, 118s for a pick percentage of 64.24%. So pretty solid on the year. 64.24. Now, I went back. We started picking in 2013. These numbers, when you add them all up, man, are pretty insane. So I have picked 1,325 fights correctly and 792 fights incorrectly. So over the course of that time, we've picked 2,100 MMA fights, and my total percentage 62.59% over that time, which I think is pretty good. I mean, 62% over the course of 8 years. I think that's a pretty solid result overall. But finally,
pretty solid.
Finally, I got a damn win, so I'm happy. So now I can finally join you as a champion.
And you get the little trophy.
Get the little trophy that never goes away. Once a champion, always a champion. So next to my name, the little pics there, it'll have a little trophy. So Scott McCrate, we were talking about it over on patreon.com/MMA Roadshow. So Scott McCrate, he actually was asking, do we get more points for picking an underdog, or how do we keep people from always picking favorites? Unfortunately, we don't. It's really just straight up picks for the main card. Sometimes I wish we had like a little twist or something like that, or there was some kind of way, maybe it's a money line thing or whatever. But at the end of the day, to be honest with you, it's a lot of work for Matt Erickson, who tracks all those, and I kind of feel bad like changing the system up and making him do something else, because I think it's already kind of a big pain in the ass. So it's basically just basic. We're just picking main cards. But I think if I was making bets and I'm picking at 63%, I think I'd be profitable over time, I would imagine.
Yeah, you would. Even then with that, I mean, like, there's a lot of times where you pick underdogs. You almost have to pick underdogs at times, because not everybody's picking. Because if everybody just picked the favorite, you would think that there'd be a lot more just even percentages. Like, a lot of people would be closer on some of these ones. But by the end of the year, man, there's a lot of differentiation from the guys at the top and the guys at the bottom. I even found myself, when I played it wrong, when we were around each other close, I was trying to pick around you to try to get back on the lead, and it ended up going wrong for me. And then I was just like, okay, well, this year's a wash. I'm done. So there's definitely some gamesmanship in there where you'll pick people. You have to make some plays every once in a while to pick the guy that nobody else is picking. That's the only way you're ever going to catch up to some of the leaders, is making some of those odd picks. But by doing that, it would be a little bit tougher to try to assign a point value on certain particular ones. And then in that sense, that would probably just give a fighter another reason to get pissed off when they said, why did you assign more points to this person and not this points to me? You know, why are you saying I'm an underdog if we put, you know, something else or whatever, you know? We already get enough
suggesting that
grief.
fighters are sensitive people?
Yeah, I know. It's like, hey, John, why'd you pick against me? Hey, John, what'd you do? You know, which is always kind of the funniest, you know.
It is.
I remember the best. The only one that really happened to me, and it wasn't like he called me out by name, but he came out looking for our outlet, was when Anthony Smith came into the back. And he was like so mad because everybody had picked against him for the most part. And he's like, where's MMA Junkie? He's like, come on, man. Like, blah, blah. I was like, yo. And then, like, it's funny because Jose Young was in front. And he pointed me out. And he's like, he's junkie.
Oh,
he's
wow.
junkie. You know, I was like, bro, you're going to throw me under the bus like that?
Right under the bus.
And he was like, man, why y'all going to pick like that? And I was like, I'm a terrible person. I was like, what do you expect me to say? I was like, I did terrible this year anyways, so don't blame me. But, you know, it's funny. I mean, but yeah, I feel like if we did anything else to make a fighter think that we think less of them pick-wise, they would probably just hate us even more. But you're right, man. Erickson has he has got so much other little stuff, and then to try to add like another wrinkle to add more points to it. I'm already at the point where I'm like, why do we keep having to pick the prelims? Because it never gets used. So they give us a list of all the fights to pick, and even though the only ones that go onto the sheet are the main event, but we're picking every fight, and I'm just like, why? I know why we're doing it because we think that there's the possibility because the possibility that somebody might move, but that fucking didn't happen the whole year.
Well, it
didn't happen the whole year.
It didn't happen a whole lot this year. It happened more last year when we started doing it because it was a COVID era thing. We didn't used to do that. You know, we just picked the main card. But then these, you know, COVID era, we were having like fights drop every single time, and so Matt was like, "Can we just have, you know, everybody?" Or like they wouldn't even announce the main card until, you know, the day before or whatever, and we'd have the wrong fights listed and that sort of stuff. So,
well, they certainly weren't going to take the first 3 fights of the night and move them to the main card.
Dude, you know what, man? I think we should do the, because we only do the main card. I've always said I think we should do the whole card, although that would just be even more work. But like, I think I do better on the prelims than I do with the main card. I really think I pick the prelims better because I have less of like an emotional attachment to a lot of those guys that, you know, on the main card.
Less homering.
Less homering, definitely. I mean, I'm not going to say I totally homered for Dawkins over Beast, but I kind of did because I knew
I
that.
Homered.
You homered for Beast and it worked out for you. I kind of homered for Dawkins because I was at a CFFC event. I kind of wanted to show some CFFC love, you know what I mean? So I kind of end up homering against the homeboy.
Yeah. Boy, that fight was awesome.
Yeah.
It was, and I wish I could say like, oh, of course I knew that was coming. Of course I didn't know it was coming. I just fucking homered for him. But I mean, that was like the Derek that we all knew that was always there and always possible to come out. And maybe Dawkins was the perfect opponent that was respectful enough to not to give Derek. He was so respectful that he gave Derek what Derek needed. Derek was able to sort of walk him up against the cage, and once he landed that first couple shots, man, I think we all know how powerful Derek is, but man, Dawkins he's shown great chin, and he's shown when he's been hit, he hasn't been hurt that bad, but man, that just goes to show how powerful Derek was. And I was just like, I was just so happy for him to show back up, man. I feel like after Houston, and I just feel like he lost some swagger in his own mind a little bit. I felt like he was just down a little bit on himself. And I wanted him to go out there and get that win, man. So I was just happy for him. And there's nothing against Dawkins either, because I really like Dawkins as well. I mean, I like everything about the cat. I love that he was a police officer. I love that he made the decision, a fucking tough decision, to walk away from being a police officer to give this his all because his work wouldn't give him the opportunity to do it. And when he said that he had to start over as a police officer and have to go back to the police academy, I mean, crazy. Like, it's crazy. Huge. It's just so mind-boggling that any police force. So hopefully he'll go somewhere else if he should go back into it. And I think it's a great profession. I think if he does want to go back into it. I hope he does transfer to another state that'll take him without making him have to go back in there, because he had 10 years in, I believe.
Yep.
And that's just ridiculous. That's you don't make that a cat like that. That's just super disrespectful of the time, regardless of whatever he might have pissed you off or whatever. Like, that's just a D-bag move. That just, at that point, you're like, well, fuck you. I can see why people don't want to go to your police force if that's how you're going to treat your veterans of the force or whatever. So here's a guy that's doing all that he can to support his community and do his things, and he goes in there and he does great fights, man. He just walked into a force of nature on a great night. You know, we've seen Derek do great things on good nights, and we've seen Derek do just dumb stuff, you know, on nights where his heads went elsewhere. And I say that with love. I love Derek. I love his team. I love Bob, man. I love those cats. So when he was able to pull that out, I haven't been that happy for him in a long time. I was just so proud of him, man. I was just so proud, and it just sucked that I couldn't even be there to really soak it in, but I was enjoying it. I was enjoying watching it. That's for sure, man. And yeah, man. It and I can't even claim like, oh, I knew that was gonna happen, because I was just homering for sure.
Yeah.
But I was so happy for him.
I was also enjoying watching it. I had a great experience. I was flying back from Atlantic City, so I drove from Atlantic City to Philadelphia, then with Philadelphia to Vegas direct. I got the upgrade, but not only did I get the upgrade, it was on one of the big 787s, so it was like the international business class little pod upgrade. So I had the big upgrade, and then the high speed internet was working good enough that I could so I was streaming the fights the whole time on my computer.
That's
drinking,
awesome.
Drinking a little double vodka and soda, coming back my way. And I got
Did you get 2 at a time?
I was getting 2 at a time, and I was I was a little bit toasty by the time we landed, man. Five hours of double vodka and sodas, and watching me some UFC fights. It was fun. So
did you schedule your flight so you would be in the air at the time when that would happen, knowing that you'd be able to watch it?
No, because honestly, I didn't think I'd be able to watch it, because used to the internet wasn't good enough in the planes for you to stream. Now it is. If it's the high speed one, it's good enough to stream. It's not very good to upload anything, but you can stream. So yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of buffering every now and then, but not much. And no, it was just kind of the way the schedule worked out. It was like the cheapest flight I could take with it being direct and all that. So. Anyway,
that's
but
cool,
it worked.
though.
Yeah, it worked out cool. It
Baller
was,
status.
I know. I felt like a baller, dude. Sitting there watching the fight.
You just keep telling her, keep them coming, keep them coming.
Keep them coming. She was nice. She kept me full the whole night, and I don't think my wife was especially pleased when I got home. She was like,
"Oh, I'm sure."
She was like, "How much did you
were just
have?"
on a plane. How did you get like this?
I'm like, I don't know. I tried to play it off, and she's like, I know. The next day we had a conversation. She's like, we talked about that last night. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember that whatsoever. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, CFFC 104 was this past weekend. Was back in Atlantic City for the first time in 2 years. So if you haven't seen that on Fight Pass, definitely go check it out. Especially ended really good. Started out with a couple decisions. I mean, I think it was a good card. I mean, I know I'm a homer for CFFC, but I swear to God, we have great events every time out. Started out with a couple decisions that may have been a little slow, but then it picked up, man. Charlie Campbell looks like an absolutely ridiculously powerful prospect. He's got power in his hands. Joe Pyfer had a big knockout in his return from injury. Pumi Nakuda, he thinks he's ready for the UFC now. We'll see if they get the call. And then the main event, it's crazy, man. You got pulled for COVID. We lost our main event at CFFC 104 due to COVID. Some of my wife's friends had COVID. It's like the worst it's ever been since this thing started, man. Everybody's getting COVID again. But we had a change up in our main event. And, man, Frankie Buenafuente was supposed to fight on the prelims, got bumped up to the main card, and was winning this fight, man, was taking it to Blake Builder, and then he got caught in a triangle choke, and he was choked out, technical submission. So it's just a hell of a card, man. It was fun. Always enjoy working with CM Punk. So then got to watch the fights on the way back. By the way, Mark Fellows pointed something out, obviously a longtime supporter, Mark Fellows. He said, can you imagine – now, I had never won. I finally won. It says, can you imagine now John has the opportunity to become the world's first 2-time junkie tipping champion? Who would have thought? But I'll extend that. Me and you both, cold coffee. We've got a chance.
I know. I don't know why he didn't decide to put my name in there.
Well, we both
Guess
got a
he
chance.
just thought he thought I was a one and done, one and done. That's it, one and
Nah,
done.
you're still in there. So that's the goal for 2022. One of us has to get the 2-time champ because we've had some turnover over the years. But if you look at the list, so goes you, Dan, Tom, Mike Bond, and me are the 5 people that have won a previous year that are still on staff. So those are the 5 that are rushing to try and be the first 2-time winner. So that's our goal for this year. The MMA Roadshow's got to deliver the first one of us. I don't care who, just one of us.
That's it. Hey, who was the guy on CFFC that came and jumped in between you and CM on the mic?
That was Pumi. He is hilarious. So he's the flyweight champion. He was defending his belt for the second time. He's a Longo Serra guy, so he comes from a great camp. And he's done. We had him commentate a fight or two before, so this time he wins, and then he comes in, rushes over in, grabs the extra headset, put on the extra headset, and starts commentating. He's like, "Who else do you know can win?" And then come jump on the mic and commentate too. This guy is so entertaining, man.
Yeah, it was quite the character. I was watching and I was like, who is this cat?
Yep.
I was like, I like his energy. Yeah, it was great fight, but man, yeah, his energy was fun. He's a bit. I mean, I know he was calling. I had a lot of call outs. He had a lot of names and a lot of things. He thinks very, very highly of himself. Now, he's a bit undersized. I think if he wants to start coming over to some of the boys in the UFC, I don't know. I mean, but I love his swagger, man. I love his where his head's at. So it'd be interesting. How do you think he'll do if he gets the call up?
I'm intrigued to see that as well. We actually had that same discussion. He's a flyweight, but he's not even a very big flyweight.
No.
I don't know how much he cuts, but it can't be a ton. So you're right. He's not going to be the biggest flyweight by any stretch of the imagination. Now, what he does have is he has insane levels of speed and great cardio as well.
Yeah.
Speed is off the charts, man. He's going to be as quick as anybody in the division. But size may be an issue with some of these flyweights that are cutting a ton of weight to get down there. So we'll see how he does. He thinks he's ready for it now.
He's got the swagger, man.
He's got the swagger.
He's got the personality, man. I was like, who is this kid? But I like him, but I don't know. It's easy to talk the game, and then you see a lot of these cats come over, and then they're just like, whoa, it's a different level. But I don't know, man. A lot of the CFFC cats that have been coming over have been doing pretty darn good. So
yeah.
I don't think it's easy to write anybody off anymore, on face value.
His skills are great. His thing is always, saying, "Hey, man, I've never been hit, I've never been touched, I've never been taken down." And the guy that he was fighting, Jason Eastman, out of American Top Team, had said before the fight, he was like, "Well, I don't think you should brag about that because you don't know how you're going to react when you do get hit. You don't know how you're going to react when you do get taken down." And he's like, "And I'm going to do that to you." But then Jason Eastman, man, as good as he was, as confident as he was, he got shut out on the scorecards. I mean, Pumi's just fast, and he's got great wrestling. So it's a grappling-based game. He's got good striking as well, and he's got really good, again, the speed and the distance manager is great. So, I'm anxious to see him at the next level. But you're right, man. I mean, getting a little bit more experience doesn't hurt. He wants to be in the UFC now, and I get. That's what I always say to people, right? Like when people are like talking about the path to get to the big time, it's like, I'd always like to see guys take, 8, 9, 10 fights, but that's real easy to say when it's not you that's collecting those $1,000 checks thinking I could be making 12 and 12 or, competing for a $50,000 performance bonus. I know that when you're making, small amounts of money, it's tough to stay on the regional scene. So I know he wants to get that invite soon. So we'll see how he plays out. Even
if I mean, it's tough to think that if he was a champ, if he would see it as a slight if he got offered like a contender series gig. Like, I don't know what kind of money he's making over at CFFC, but if that would be an uptick or not, or if he would just be like, bro, I'm a title holder. Don't make me go in and compete for whatever. Like, give me an outright something or other. But if that's a good way in, I mean, I would say go for it. If he knows for sure that all he has to do is go in there and do one fight and perform like he needs to, and has a possibility of getting the contract at the end of the night, it would be interesting to see. And I don't know, man. I don't know if more cats, are maybe think that that's a step down once you reach that level of like a title thing. I could see where anybody, if they weren't a title holder in CFFC, got an invite to do a contender series, would be like, just jump at it. But
right.
I don't know what somebody with the title would think about that.
I think you're right. I think I've been hearing a lot more prospects say that they don't necessarily. I hate to say this because if they can get on Contender Series, they're going to take it. They know it's one step closer
Yeah.
to getting to UFC. But I have heard a lot of people say, man, that's not really the ideal scenario because exactly what you said. If you don't have the right type of fight, like you could be victorious, but it just doesn't catch Dana's eye. And of course, we all know it takes two to tango, right? If your opponent just happens to be stalling out or whatever the case may be, maybe you don't get a contract, and then you find yourself in a weird position where it's like, if you lose there or if you win and it's not exciting, what does it take to get another callback? You know what I mean? Have you I don't want to say burned a bridge, but have you given yourself a hurdle now to jump over instead of a pathway? So
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's interesting to see. So I know. I mean, who wouldn't want the guaranteed path in there? Of knowing you're going straight in. But
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what plays out for Pumi. I'm anxious to see what happens to him. By the way, next week, if you think we're done at CFFC, we still got one more event. I'm flying back out to Philadelphia next week for Fury Professional Grappling 3. I'm telling everybody, man, mark this on your calendars, December 30th. Even if you're not normally, I don't really watch the grappling events normally. It's not really my thing. The card is insane, man. Right now, this is where it stands right now. Rose Namajunas versus Danielle Kelly, which is amazing. Sean Brady versus Craig Jones, which could be crazy. Clay Guida versus Billy Quarantillo. Kevin Holland is on there versus Cody Hamra. Eddie Torres, who was supposed to be in the main event this past weekend, is not, but he's fighting. Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres, or grappling, I should say, not fighting, but still. Neil Magny's on there against Joaquim Silva. Chase Hooper against Renato Moicano. Nicky Rodriguez against Steve Mowry. Still got matchups to come for Andre Petrosky and Pat Sabatini. I mean, there are so many recognizable UFC names on this grappling card. I'm telling you, even if you don't normally watch grappling events, December 30th, it's Thursday night, next Thursday, 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. There are tickets, but I mean, hell, they might be sold out already, man. I'm not sure. If you can be in the area, go, because I don't know, man. I'm super excited. This is the type of thing I think it's going to take. I love grappling, but I know it's not for everybody. But I think when you have this, where you have all those recognizable names, where you have people that you're used to watching fight, compete, I think this might be what it takes to get some people involved or interested that don't normally watch events like this. So I'm pumped up for it, man.
Yeah, I agree. I actually really enjoyed even the first that Fight Pass Invitational that just happened the past week was really cool. And you mentioned Danielle Kelly, like, wow, she had an incredible match. Like, this girl for me, I thought was just like unbeatable. I was like, nobody's going to beat this girl, nobody's going to beat her. And she had a tough match and ended up losing a decision as well, And I was like, holy cow. So now I'm like, who's this other woman, that was able to beat her, And I'm so looking forward to her match with Rose, man. I think that'd be fantastic. Like, I think as good as we think that Rose is, I mean, like, that's not her specialty. That's all
Right.
Danielle Kelly does. I mean, she is a ninja when it comes to jiu-jitsu, man. She is just a specialist that is so fine-tuned into it. It's just really unique. You mentioned Craig Jones and all these cats. I mean, you just mentioned these guys are so, when I say guys and gals are so good at what they do. It's just so fantastic watching it. And I think that's when we watch the MMA guys do it, when you see the guys that are so skilled in it and you're just like, wow, that was so fantastic. They just transitioned from this to this. That's good and all, but then when you see somebody that's a complete just specialist at it, watch them be able to flow around. It's so mind numbing. Like, you don't miss the fact that you're not seeing the strikes, that you're not seeing these kicks when you see just like this beautiful technique, and it's really just interesting watching it at such a high level, so I didn't know what I was going to think about that first invitational, and I was like, well, I'll just give it a watch and let's see. And I watched the whole thing and was completely engaged the whole time. I thought the team format was interesting as well, so it was really cool, man. So yeah, like you said, I mean, anything in that like that points to to highlight some of the different disciplines of the sport, I think is great. I mean, I find myself every once in a while watching like a wrestling tournament or something, and I can see where some people are like, oh, this is boring, but it's really not when you watch people that are really good at it. The competition.
It's educational,
It's
I think.
so neat. It's so neat to see it, so that's cool, man. I'm looking forward to that one, man. It should be good, but man, give yourself some time off, bro. Enjoy the rest, man. Just get a rest every once in a while. I'm enjoying the staycation.
I'm on that grind. Yeah, no, it is. You know, it is. It's funny you say that. Obviously, man, that event is so stacked. Like, I wanted to go out there and do it no matter what.
It's pretty ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I wanted to be a part of it. I mean, like, how cool is that? Like, that I get to commentate on some of these fighters. You know, I mean, to me, that's exciting. But I will say this. Yeah, you know what? We do need to cash in on this. This is kind of our off season, right? I mean, this is like the first kind of off season we've ever had.
Isn't that funny that we call it an off season?
It's like 3 weeks.
A few weeks. A few weeks, and like we're like, yeah, off season, and it's like, shit.
Yeah.
I like when when it's a real season. People are like, oh yeah, we'll be back. We'll see you in a few months. No, not
couple of weeks. We gotta take advantage of it, enjoy it. But look, I'm not gonna lie. By the end of it, I'm gonna be fiending for some MMA. There's no question about it. But right now, I'm good because obviously Christmas is coming up, and I'm excited to give my kid his gifts and to hang out with him and spend a little time with the family.
You give gifts? I thought that guy up north does that. What are you talking about?
We both do. We give him gifts, and then of course Santa comes as well, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Come on, man. Oh, man.
We might have some listeners that don't know.
Oh no, Santa still comes. Hey, Eli knows Santa. If he doesn't believe, Santa doesn't come. So you got some decisions to make.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Does she still? Does your wife still do the Elf on the Shelf thing?
I think this will be the last year we do the Elf on the Shelf because he doesn't really seem all that engaged by it anymore.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was cute to watch that. As he's been growing up and seeing all the pics of that stuff. That's kind of cool.
She did. Yeah, she would go all out and make scenes and stuff like that. And so he liked that. But this year he doesn't really focus on it anymore. So I think he's done with that. He did just.
He's getting older.
In fact, actually, my wife today admitted that the Tooth Fairy isn't real.
Just today?
Or at least that the Tooth Fairy in our house isn't real, maybe.
That's awesome. But that just happened today?
Yeah, just today. So he lost a tooth.
Wow.
Yeah, he lost a tooth. And then, but I guess what happened, so the tooth came out. First of all, I don't even think it was that loose. I think my kid just yanked his tooth out. And I was like, bro,
you can't
be yanking your teeth out for money, man. You can't be yanking your teeth out for money.
That's funny.
So anyway, he took it out, whatever. He came in. I was in my office the other day. He walks in here with like a blood-soaked paper towel in his mouth. He's like, that's my tooth. I'm like, what are you doing? It wasn't even that loose. But anyway, so
is that the last of his baby teeth?
Yeah, almost there. Like one of his baby molar or premolar or whatever the hell it's called. So anyway, but I guess afterwards, once the tooth came out, it broke. And so my wife wanted to take it to the dentist to have him look at it to make sure there wasn't some kind the tooth shouldn't break, right? So she wanted to make sure something was wrong with it. So she had him put the tooth under his pillow, but then I guess he got some money and then the tooth remained. And so my wife was explaining that the Tooth Fairy left the tooth because the Tooth Fairy knew that we wanted to get it inspected by the dentist, but that he still get money. And my kid just basically called bullshit on her. Just hold on. First of all, you're trying to get me to believe there's a person that breaks into your house to take your teeth and give you money. And on top of that, you want me to believe that this particular person also understood that we wanted to get it inspected by the doctor, so broke into the house, gave me some money, but left the tooth as a favor for us so we could take it to the doctor? Nah. So my wife was just like, yeah, that sounds pretty stupid, doesn't it?
That's awesome. And then you play the movie Tooth Fairy with The Rock in it.
Yeah, so she admitted that, but then in the same vein, she was like, "But I mean, that Santa's still real, of course." And he's like, "Oh yeah, for sure." So that was our morning.
That's
today.
Awesome.
That was our morning. But yeah, so yes,
That's
take
hilarious.
advantage of the time away, and then we'll get things going again next season. Next season. It's not even a season. It's just 3 weeks later. The year starts again.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to mention one thing to you real quick about Triller moving forward. Now, we saw Junior Dos Santos this week signed with Triad Combat and is going to be fighting there, of course, against the same opponent that Frank Mir fought against and lost. I was surprised to see him sign there. I thought for sure he was signing with Eagle FC. He was at Junior Dos Santos was at the Eagle FC press conference. Of course, he lives there in the Florida area, but I thought for sure that's where he was going to end up signing. But this as we're looking back on the year, I mean, we're gonna have to talk about Triller. We're gonna have to talk about Triad Combat. We're gonna have to talk about what they accomplished this year. But I said from the beginning, I just don't understand what their path to profitability is. I don't know how long they're going to be around. So go get your money while you can. I want to read you this press release that came in today. I have no idea. I've read this thing like 10 times, and I have no idea what it says. All right, here's the headline. Triller Hold Company LLC expected to become publicly traded on NASDAQ through a reverse merger with a publicly traded company, Sea Change International. So a reverse merger, and then it becomes publicly traded. Like I admit, I'm not the most financially savvy person, so it just sounds to me like they're merging, and that company becomes part of the company that's already personally traded here. But here's the part that I don't understand here. All right, Sea Change International, together with Triller Hold LLC, today announced that they have entered into a definitive agreement and plan of merger to combine with Sea Change, a publicly traded company focused on advanced digital advertising with Trillerverse. The proposed business combination is expected to ultimately result in a value of the combined company at approximately $5 billion. Trillerverse believes it is positioned to become a leading AI-powered social media platform for content creators and commerce, and is anticipated to be publicly traded on a U.S. national exchange through the proposed business combination. Trillerverse expects it will create a leading voice on the Web 3.0 movement and embrace the power of decentralized, whatever that word is, decentralized systems to enable greater participation in the multi-hundred-billion-dollar creator economy. Trillerverse believes that the creators deserve to own, manage, distribute, and monetize their content, and Trillerverse is designed for ever greater control, extensibility, and agency.
Interesting.
I still don't think I understand what this is, but this sounds to me, and this reminds me so much. This was Pro Elite. Pro Elite was a fight company that was really a social media company. How the hell does that I don't understand how this is supposed to work. It seems like a mistake that's been made before. And I can't look. There's a lot of really wealthy people involved in this, so I'm not sitting here just trying to talk shit. I'm really not. I've enjoyed their product. I am glad that people are getting paid, and it sounds like maybe this is part of their business plan. But I just the fight company, but it's really a social media company. I don't even know what an AI-powered social media platform for content creators and commerce even means. I don't even understand it. Here's another. Trillerverse's proprietary AI-based ecosystem enables content and experiences that unlock the vast relationships between creators, tastemakers, and influencers in the globe's most coveted demographic, the 18 to 34-year-old marketplace.
Well, I think a lot of times too, the talk of what AI is a little bit different than other stuff. Where I think if you think about like even with a video player that can provide videos, on a platform when they assume that they know what you're looking for. It's the same sort of thing with like, I think even what some of the players that came to like USA Today or something where it's like, you put in a term and you want to have something and then the software or the player says, okay, I think this is what they're trying to do. I think this is what they're trying to watch. And it'll serve up videos according to what it thinks that the viewer's trying to look for, as opposed to something that's like a living, breathing thing that's like, anticipating and actually talking or other stuff. I think it's just a smart, probably a video platform. Just doing a quick search, it looks like Sea Change is a leading supplier of video delivery software solution. So if they're talking about trying to deliver and do that same sort of deal, it looks like it makes sense that would be a software platform where they could probably cut out some of the costs if they have something that's able to help provide the streaming platforms that they need. And when a quick look on like what a reverse merger is, technically when a private company buys out a public one and then they issue shares of a new stock, and it's an easier way of going public without having to do all the normal hubbub of going public on your own. You're trying to shortcut and you're still going public, but you're going public in a different manner. So it wouldn't be like Triller themselves just saying, hey guys, by the way, we're going public, but we're going to merge with this company that's already public, and then we're going to reissue stocks of the new platform, and then we'll be out there. So the existing company that gets bought, their stock ticker and their everything that's already out there will change, and then that new one will be what the new company trades under. So they're already out and about. So it's a different way of sort of like going public without the sort of risk and expense of doing like an IPO as a new company going out there.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But at this point,
Yeah,
so what is Triller Fight Club? Just an advertising platform, basically? Like it's just a loss leader to get their name out there or something? I mean,
yeah, it's like a brand. You know.
It's
Now
still
that they've
money laundering,
established
right?
it out there,
It's still money laundering.
that's what it still feels like. That's what it still feels like. You know, it's like we have this money. Somehow we need to spend it. You know, we have to get this done. You know, or the boss is gonna get mad because we didn't launder enough of it. You know, who knows? But yeah, I mean, you still think that at some point, you know, the money has to dry up at some point, but you never know. I mean, if this platform with them being able to join onto something that actually is a video supplier or has, you know, they probably have other sort of means to, you know, say if we were a content creator and we needed a video platform to play our stuff, they could do that, but also in the down times when we don't have video, they would have video content to supply by having these events and other stuff. So maybe that's part of the play, is that hopefully they're looking for ways to, you know, build a platform to stream their stuff, but also enable that to other people to do it and then sell their product as filler, you know, or, you know, something. But yeah, it's just interesting because the amount of money that they're throwing out is just crazy. I mean, and we've seen that the competition for video players and markets and that sort of stuff out there is really, really tough.
Yep.
You know, I would think that this is you know, while risky move, you know, getting into a field that already has other players. If that's the field you're going to do, might as well own sort of software to help you be able to push your stuff out and cut the cost. Same thing with, like, you know, if you're at the UFC and you're going to put on events, might as well buy the building and be able to put it on at your own place and cut some costs and then stream it out from your own place, right? You know, control the product as much as you can. Yeah. So I guess if anything, this is maybe one of those moves where they figured out a way to maybe internalize some of the costs and cut it down once they could, you know, find the place to do it. So who knows? Maybe in the end this will be a smart move on their part. But yeah, it's tough. It seems like another big expenditure,
Right?
but maybe it pays off down the line. I mean, I think a lot of people were probably questioning when the UFC decided to make the Fight Pass. We're like, really? You're gonna put all this fight library and you're going to host this and you think it's going to work? You know, you're going to go up against all the Netflix and the blah, blah, blahs, and look at it now. It's still going strong and it still has a thing in the UFC. I mean, if you asked them now if they ever regret it, I think they'd laugh and be like, why would we ever regret this? It was the greatest thing we ever did, you know? Even though at the time we were like, wow, is this needed? I mean, is this going to work? Is somebody actually going to pay for it? But now, how many years are we now? 4 or 5 years since that's been, maybe even more.
Yep.
It's hard to keep track, but be interesting. They keep putting on events and they keep throwing money, but I don't know.
I want them to keep going because I want fighters to have opportunities, and it sounds like the paychecks they're offering are really, really good paychecks, and you know,
and it's fun events.
Well, I was going to say,
it's outside the box. I mean, they're giving people, you know, opportunities to make a living, and you know, as much as some of the stuff just leaves your head shaking, you're like, well, I'll watch it though, you know, and it's just like
different. It's different.
There you go.
I have fun with it. I haven't loved everything that they do, but I like for everything not to look the same, not for everything not to try to be cookie cutter and copy the UFC. So I don't know. I thought that was an interesting press release. You know, people I think are always trying to figure out what's going on. That's part of what's going on. So if you're looking to see kind of where they're heading and what direction they're going, that's at least part of it. So found that interesting, even though I'm by no means any type of economic or business expert.
Yeah.
I definitely found that interesting. So listen, I want to share an interview that I did just before we sat down to speak tonight. I had a chance to get on the line with Manel Kape earlier today and just kind of talk about, where he stands right now, kind of where he sees. Listen, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm high on this guy. I know that he came in, had a couple losses right away, but I was a big fan of this guy outside of the UFC, and I think now he's on the right track and he's showing kind of what he's capable of inside the UFC. And whether or not he'll challenge for a title this year or not, we'll see. But I definitely think he's a title contender sooner rather than later. So wanted to get a chance to catch up with him, and here was our conversation. All right, so Manel, obviously a couple weeks after your big victory, got the winning streak going now. Let me ask first and foremost, where are you now? Are you a Las Vegas resident now? Are you here in Vegas full time?
Yes, I'm in Vegas right now. I live in here. I live
Very
here right
nice.
now.
Very nice. So what brought you out to Las Vegas? I mean, is it just the Performance Institute? Was it coaching? What made you make the change from Thailand to Las Vegas?
First time was the COVID. In Thailand everything was shut down. Airport was everything closed, and I wanna be more close to UFC, so I can fight more, and I can be ready because in Thailand was have too much fun, and here I can focus more.
Now that's pretty crazy to say you can come to Las Vegas and focus more. Is it
Yeah,
that much
yeah,
crazier out in Thailand?
as much crazy, more than Las Vegas.
That's awesome, man. All right, so listen, you got the big win earlier this month, another impressive victory for you. You were happy afterwards, but after you got a chance to watch it and review it, what are your thoughts on your performance?
Normally, I never watch my fight. I just watch the highlights, and just when I lose, I watch my fights when I lose, um, to see what mistakes I have, what I did wrong, and try to be a better me in the next fight. But normally when I win, just saw the highlights and try to enjoy uh, the the rest of the day.
Nice. What did you think about the highlights? It was a pretty good finish, right? What were your thoughts on it?
What was amazing was amazing. Um, the Actually, I was thinking that this fight's going to close to second round, but he did some mistakes. He showed that he was hurt, and why not take the chance and finish the fight on first round?
That's right. Get it done. I wanted to ask you, you said afterwards, because you had talked about, the grip in the cage being a problem, and now you've kind of got that down with your feet. You said it was a pedicure. Is it really just a pedicure that is helping
Yes,
you get your
Israeli,
what?
Israeli.
So what do they do? Do they make it rough? Do they make it smooth? Like what it's
It's
crazy.
I can say like I sweat a lot in my feet too, and but the problem is the skins dead. Yeah, the skins are very dead, and um, they take all the skin dead from my feet, and the so my feet can stay fixed very well on floor, and don't slide. But if you see all the other fights, I never know about this. But if you see other fights, even in Japan, if you watch my fight without boots, everything, I'm like slide. I'm like in the ring, you know. I'm slide like complete, no heavy stability, and all the power in my hands can't be so strong because you need to have a good base in the floor to connect a good striking, and I can catch the guys, and I'm more fast, and I can't catch uh, the guys. But I did a great job. Like I said before, I watched the things wrong in my losses, so I can improvise for the next fight. So this is what I did, and the last fights I was not worried about nothing. I was not worried. I know that I'm better than what I show, and I won the fight. And I won the fight was a complete robe, and not in my head was uh, overthinking, like, oh, I'm in this position, I lose, I need to. No, I was very happy, not stressful. I was happy, and this is because I come back strong. Some people lose and never come back because they mind have questions, and my mind never have questions. I was all the time right that I won, and I will come stronger.
I wondered about that. I mean, when you came to the UFC, obviously 2 losses to start out with. Was there any part of you that thought like, "Oh my gosh, have I made a mistake here? Do I not really belong here, or should I have stayed
Never,
where I was?" Did any of that go through your mind?
never. What this is what I'm talking about. Never these thoughts was in my mind. My mind was always clear and peaceful with myself. I know that in the trainings, I look sharp. I did feel very well, and I was win all the rounds in the trainings. I can count how many rounds I lose, but what I can count the round I lose in the training, and I know that I was doing so well, even with people more heavy than me. So why this happen in a fight? Why this happen in a fight? And I know the problem. People always think like, oh, excuse. I never made excuse. Never in my life made excuse. Anything in my life, even in a fight or outside the fight, I always look it for the problem, fix, and come back strong. This is what I'm doing. Even in childhood, always I do many. I was in the troubles in school, in the street, with my mother, with my father. I will tell you one story, fun story. One time, the time for come back at the house was 7 o'clock for the dinner. My father say, "You guys can be in the street till 7 o'clock," and I was 10 at 10 p.m. I was in the street, and the whole family already dinner, everything. And I'm thinking for myself, oh, fuck, I'm going to house, and my father was beat my ass, but he beat crazy, We have education like military education, and I was thinking like, fuck, what I'm gonna do, you know. And I come back at home, I take one stone, and I I jump to the window of my brother room, and my brother room see, and I say, oh, yo, father is at home, he don't sleep. Yes, he is at home and talk about you. He gonna beat your ass. You okay? Yeah. Send me some dress like the church. And I was like, okay, today is the Thursday, is the day that go to the church, and send me the Bible. Send me the Bible. Send me all the clothes, search the Bible, and I'm dressed in the streets. Dressed in the streets. All the neighbors who see, they already know that we are always in a trouble with my father when we come back later. And he sent me, and he say, "Oh, I will send this, but you will wash the dishes for me all week." You okay? No problem, got it. And I send the clothes. I go to home. I beat the door. My father was in the door waiting for me, you know, and looked to me. And me, I was with the Bible in the hand, and they looked to me like, "Where you been?" And I say, "I was in church all this time." You can ask the men. They just leave me at home. And he, really? Yo, yeah, yeah, yeah. My mother know me, and she looked to me, but don't say nothing. Like just, just shake his head, and okay, and like I fixed the problem.
Your mom knew you were lying, but she appreciated the effort you put into that.
Is a is a fix the problem. Doesn't matter. The point is you fix the problem.
That's amazing, man. That's great. All right, well, listen. So let me ask you then, Mateus Nicolau, do you feel like you have to fight him again? Do you need to fight him again, or does it matter to you?
Uh, Mateus Nicolau is not the name that means something for me. Big thing. I know what I did when we fight. Uh, But I will pay back. I will pay back when I take care of the belt. I can pay back. If he's be there. I don't know if he's gonna be there so long time. Because he don't have any power in the hands. Like he's going to win on decision. But if he's be there, I know that I will be there. I will pay back.
Very nice. Well, we got a title fight coming up next month, so I am curious what you think about it. Obviously, it's a big one in the division with this rivalry. Brandon Moreno, Davison Figueiredo doing it again. What do you think about that fight? Do you have any predictions for how that one plays out? Are you excited for it? Do you think it's a good fight?
Um, you know, mm, think about Figueiredo. What like he can be afraid is about uh, how much weight he lose. Because he never he, he never like last fight. I know that he have issues in weight, a lot of issues in weight, and he come back very weak. Last fight he come back weak. The problem was the weight. I know when I was back up, he was in the hospital too. I hear the story that I was close to fight, I guess Moreno because he was in the hospital, but he recovered and he accepted the fight. My issue is so just about his weight, how we gonna recover it and come back to fight Moreno, and Moreno improved a lot along these years. He looks sharp, strong, and but I believe that Figueira is my favorite because the power, and I feel that Moreno feel a lot when he fights somebody with more power than him. But if the fight goes through 3 rounds, Moreno gonna win. Out 4 5, Moreno's gonna win because Figueiredo is have any stamina.
Interesting. It's a great breakdown. Any talk of you serving as a backup again? Maybe being ready?
Uh, you know, right now, um, like I say, I never say things that different things. I say that I want to do 2 more fights and then have the opportunity to fight to the belt because if it's a good win and like my 2 fights before, if it's like that, probably I'm gonna have the opportunity. So I will keep with my words. I don't will say like no, I would like have a backup. No, I'm keep with my words. I want to do 2 more fights and go forward to that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Any thoughts? We saw Kai Kara France recently come out and say, hey, he thinks he deserves the winner of that fight. Do you
Nah,
think
he
he's
never he never deserve. He don't deserve the fight. Is crazy in his mind. Like what he say. You know. Uh, Cody is a good name. He's 100% is a good name. Is was a former champion, but in welterweight, right now flyweight is totally different. People think that okay, I'm coming to the division more light, and I can lose. He's not gonna happen. It's different weight classes. The speed is different. You may be not so strong because you lose the weight what you lose. You probably not will be so sharp, so strong with the stamina. And people don't understood like he come from welterweight to come to flyweight and think that and the thing is he underestimates Kaikara. You never can underestimate anybody. You understood? I love the style of Cody. I have the most respect, but I see that he underestimates the somebody that are very hungry. Kai. I look in the eyes. He was hungry. For that fight. This is it motivated him. The Cody, what he did in UFC, it motivated him. So when you go to somebody that you don't think that you're gonna have problem, this guy that you will make you problem. He's guy that will make you a problem. And Kaikara is crazy in the head. Think that he's gonna fight with the title. And will be a good match if he accepted the fight against me because um, I believe that I'm the most knockout to power in flyweight. I believe that I have the most power knockouts in flyweight. I have more knockouts than many lightweight, heavyweight, and weight. So we can match to see who have the most powerful.
I like that
It's
matchup.
interesting.
What do you think? So I was thinking the winner of Figueredo versus Moreno. I was thinking the winner should maybe face Askar Askarov. Do you think he's the
Of
guy that
course,
should be number
of
one?
course, of course. Askarov is deserved. The guy is so strong, and he deserves to be there. I believe that he's the next. This is like I don't when I speak, I don't speak just for speak. I don't talk for just for talk for. I talk things that make sense, and the fact when I say that I need to two more fights is because have somebody in front of me, and I respect my time, you know. So Askarov is there. I can't say like, oh, back up or next fight. No, it no, does make sense. I say for myself like I will repeat. I need two more fights. Askarov need the fight to the title. You know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you the number 14 ranking. Are you okay with that? Do you think that's an accurate ranking? Do you think it's not good?
Who? Who?
Your ranking, number 14.
It's just a number. It's just a number. You know. It's just a number. Um, don't make sense if we look for that. Don't make sense. I beat Mateus Nicolau. You know, I beat Mateus Nicolau, and don't make sense to my skills, to my talent and everything were put all together. Who better than me? Like in knockouts, submits, all together. Uh, how many fights I have and put together the knockouts and submits. Who's there better than me that have better record? You know, better finishes. I'm talking about the better finish. You know, who have that in flyweight? Nobody.
Tough case to
You
make.
know, nobody.
Tough.
Believe it,
So what
nobody.
do you think? So what do you think, Manel? What makes sense here? So you said it. You're sticking with it. Two more fights and then the title. You said Kai Kara France would be a good fight. Are there any other names? I mean, are there matchups that you see would be the right two fights to get you to the title, or does it matter?
The fight that exciting right now is Kaikara or Pantoja. I believe that he's don't gonna accept, but Kaikara, Pantoja. I will tell you, he was to fight in February right now with Tim Elliott, but he refused. First he accepted, then he refused to fight. I was supposed to fight in February.
Oh wow. So that's still the date you want to fight? February still makes sense for you?
I'm still on shape. I'm still training.
Very nice. We'll just have to get somebody to sign the dotted line. That's the only goal right now, right?
Yes, 100%.
Nice. And do we get both fights and the title fight next year? Do we get 3 fights in and fight for the title by the end of the year?
I want to start my year early, you know. I want to have a busy year. So if they book me for February, I- I'll have time to in the third fight to fight to the title, you know. So give time to who is the champion. Give time for um, people fight against each other, you know, and give the time to the champion rest and the fight probably end of the year.
I like it. I like it. Aggressive plans. Well, if anybody can do it, it's you. Obviously, very exciting fighter. Now you got this 2-fight win streak, man. I think it's going to be a big 2022 for you, man. I think it's going to be a big year for you.
I will work for that. I will work very hard for that.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to the news. I appreciate you taking time. Enjoy your holidays, and we'll catch up with you in the new year.
Thank you so much, John. Have a blessed day.
All right, there he was, Manel Kape. Listen, I'll just say I'm high on the guy, and I like what he's saying when he talks. He's definitely confident. You know, he's definitely believes in himself. But I also like the fact that he's not just talking shit, basically. You know what I mean? For him to say, like, hey, look, I don't think Kai Kara France is the number one contender right now, but I do think that Askar Askarov is the number one contender. At that point, you're not just talking trash. I mean, you're actually just laying out where you think the division stands, and I happen to actually agree with his kind of vision of how the division stands right now. So, I think him and Kai Kara France would be a great fight. As he said, I think Pantoja would be a great fight for him as well. We'll see, what the UFC can put together for him, but if they want to get something for him by February, then maybe he will challenge for the belt sometime this year. But I don't know. I like that guy. If he's not on your radar, I think he should be on your radar. And I think he's a character as well too. I like some of his storytelling. So I'm high on that guy. Starboy.
Man, you're talking about Kai Kara France, man. His last fight, man. That's another. I was homering for old Cody, but Cody
know.
went in there like was going to go in there and look like he was about to big brother somebody, and he got just demolished, man. Good job for Kai Kara France, man. What a fight, man. So yeah, anybody that's like chomping at the bit to fight that cat, man, good for him, man. That was one hell of a fight, man. I'm not even sad. That was such a great performance, man. As much as I homer for Ohio guy, man, that performance was just so fantastic, man. That was just, it was just brutal. I remember watching him at the weigh-ins when he went up there and he did that little sort of slit the throat with the tongue out, and I was like, oh man, he's going up there acting a fool. He better back it up, and boy, did he back it up.
No doubt about it, man.
That was just fantastic. That was probably the best he's looked. Man. Not that he's ever really like looked bad or anything. I remember, it just felt like there's always been really high hopes for what he was going to do, and not that he didn't quickly live up to him, but man, that was just fantastic, man. I was just blown away because I was like, I knew it was going to be a close one, but I didn't think it would be that dominant. He went in there like he had a chip on his shoulder, and it was just fantastic. It was just fantastic.
Put that fight together. Put that fight together. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. All right, well, listen, I did want to give a quick shout-out to the Submission Radio boys. They did have me on earlier this week. It had been a couple months since I had been on with them, but we kind of got together to wrap up the year, and just want to say thanks to that. So if you hadn't checked out Submission Radio in a while, do that. Their YouTube channel, they got that all posted there. They got it on all your podcast places as well. Certainly,
did they spell that thumb wrong? Did they make a misspelling on the thumb?
They did. Why you got to point that out?
Because I love them, and I was like, should I call them and tell them that there was a misspelling? I was like, but maybe I'm just reading it wrong. I was like, maybe I'm just reading it wrong.
There was a typo on the thumb. I wasn't going to go there, but there was a minor typo. But yes, so if you guys are listening, you want to correct it, go ahead and correct it. But I think them for having me on, and that criticism came from Cold Coffee, not from John Morgan.
Yeah, maybe if you had me on, I would have pointed it out. No, I'm just kidding.
There's a good way to get yourself invited. Be like, have me on the show. I won't talk shit about you anymore. How about that?
I love those boys.
Of course, man. We were talking a little bit, man. Hopefully you get to see them one way or the other.
Yes, hopefully we get to go to their side of the woods someday.
Yeah, it was.
Someday.
They were saying they think it might be more likely that we get to go down there before they get to make it up here to the United States. So we'll see how it all plays out, man. Obviously, it's been tough down there for them. So anyway, holidays are here. Christmas Eve, Christmas. Hope everybody has a great one. Cold Coffee, any last messages of holiday cheer or warm?
Enjoy your smells and your foods and your tastes. No, just your damn fuckers. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, we'll have another one before the end of the year, right?
Yeah, we'll have one before the end of the year.
Before the Christmas.
I got to figure out what to do.
I mean, I'm gonna just do the staycation thing. I'm gonna make me a nice big old prime rib and some sweet potatoes, and hope I can actually taste it. And if not, I'm still just gonna make the best face while I eat it. But yeah, I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna stay here in the house, and I still got some frosty beverages, so I'm just gonna take it easy and talk to family and enjoy the family time on the phone and stuff. So for all you that have your families there, enjoy your family time, love your loved ones. I hope you were able to give them all wonderful, fantastic gifts, and enjoy the time with your family, man. It's always good. It's always good at during the holidays. I mean, it's good anytime you have a chance to be around your family and do that stuff. As annoying and families and arguments and all that other stuff can be, at the end of the day, family is family, and you're lucky to have them, and make the most of it. Even annoying days with family are better than no days with family.
Well said, man. Very true. Very true. So, yeah, enjoy those. We'll talk to you once more, as we said, before the year's out. So we'll have one more in before 2022. Hopefully Cold Coffee's not coughing by then, and he actually has a sense of taste back.
If not, I'm going to be really skinny from my just orange juice diet. Because, damn it, at least I can taste orange juice.
The silver lining. It might kill you, but you can drop a few pounds. Thanks for listening.